So let me just be real honest about this. If you can't reasonably envision yourself avoiding sex your whole life, then singleness is probably not a good option for you. Pursue singleness only if, like the Apostle Paul says, you think you have the gift of singleness. But some of us might be in sort of that stage between wanting or desiring or needing to be married and actually being married. What do you do in the middle stages? Well, let me give you two pieces of advice. First for ladies, then for guys. Ladies, King Solomon, 3 times in Song of Songs, says something really fascinating. He says, "Daughters of Jerusalem, I charge you, do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires." Women are typically a little bit more relationally wired, and therefore sometimes women have a tendency to want to be more serious in relationships faster than guys. Sometimes this might even be a temptation for a woman to jump into a sexual relationship faster than she otherwise might, because she so desires a transparent, vulnerable, intimate relationship. But here's the thing. It makes absolutely no sense to get physically naked with somebody that you haven't also gotten emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually naked with in a lifelong commitment. In other words, the only place where it would make sense to arouse this sort of love is in the safety and security of the lifelong commitment of a marriage covenant. And guys, Martin Luther once kind of famously and a little non-romantically said, you can't stop the birds from flying over your head, but you can prevent them from nesting in your hair. And here's what he meant. He said, as sexual creatures, you can't stop sexual thoughts from going through your head, but you can choose what you do or don't do with those thoughts. In 1 Corinthians 6, Paul says, flee sexual immorality. In other words, in a culture that considers itself to be really sexually sort of liberated, if you just stand still, sexual immorality is going to hunt you down and have its way with you. The word for sexual immorality there is the Greek word porneia. It's where we get our word pornography. Run from that stuff like your life depends on it, because it very well might. Finally, if your past sexual sins have sort of haunted you, just remember that Jesus came here to earth to bring grace specifically to those who had been disgraced. If you've ever felt dirty, Jesus came here specifically for you. He came to cleanse you and clothe you and cover you. And the craziest thing of it all is the Bible says, in the end, he actually comes back and marries you. If you felt damaged at all in this lifetime, just remember you haven't lost anything. You're right on the track that you were destined for: love, intimacy, and glory with him.